Hi guys, welcome to the episode of Pokemon Strong. This week we'll be taking a break from Pokemon and we'll be focusing on professional wrestling. So I'd like to share with you guys some of the items of professional wrestling that I was able to get over the years in terms of memorabilia, autographs, and even some exclusive items that I had the privilege to procure. So the first few items that I'd like to share with you guys will be the category of autograph signatures on images, and there are a few here that I was able to purchase or had maybe meet and greets over the years with the wrestlers themselves. And of course, let's start with the first. So if you can see here, is actually an image of Kofi Kingston back in 2019 when he was the WWE champion, winning the title from Daniel Bryan from WrestleMania 35. It just struck out to me that the way the image is and his signature as well. I'm really particular when it comes to signatures because I felt that the better the signature covers the image, I think it's really worth your money, and it also shows the effort that the superstar actually puts into actually signing this for their fans. The next one is a former WWE superstar who is now in All Elite Wrestling. He's the best man called Miro, but formerly known as Rusev. So I got this at a steal. It was on clearance from www.shop.com, and I just thought that, why not give it a try, why not get something for myself since it's on clearance at the point of time. And I believe this was the first autograph image I actually got from WWE shop, and yeah, it's pretty neat, it's really simple, and I just love how professionally taken their photos are. So yeah, the next that I'd like to share is this indie wrestler, or occasionally in New Japan Pro Wrestling, Zack Sabre Jr. So fun fact, I actually got this autograph from Pro Wrestling Tees because I actually bought a merchandise from them. I believe it was a t-shirt, and it was a cool thing because they had a promo code where actually if you apply, you would get a random 8x10 from a professional wrestler. So I got ZSJ, he's one of the top wrestlers in the world. He's a technician wizard, and I think this is really cool to add to the collection as well. Next up, we have the Bruiserweight Pete Dunne. Alright, so this isn't necessarily a professionally taken photo. So cool story, I met Pete Dunne twice in Singapore. Our very own Singapore Pro Wrestling, or SPW, actually managed to bring him in for two, I would say, events, or in our scale, maybe like scale of a pay-per-view. So this image, I actually got it from him for the first time that I met him, and at that point in time, he was just crowned the NXT UK champion, winning it from Tyler Bate, and he was still green. He was just doing his rounds, his independent bookings, before eventually being confirmed as a full-time WWE superstar. And of course, last but not least, in terms of autograph signatures, I met the best bout machine. I would say definitely one of the, if not the top wrestler in the world today, the former All Elite Wrestling World Champion, Kenny Omega. So similarly, SPW brought Kenny Omega in conjunction with, I would say it's in conjunction with another promotion at the time, and there was a huge 6-man tag, and he was the main attraction that everyone came for the event for. So it was really cool to be able to get this from Kenny, and he took time to actually speak to each and every one of us during the signing, and he was really accommodating, and yeah, even wrote my name right. And yeah, so I would say this is definitely one of the coolest autographs that I ever gotten. So yeah, next up we have memorabilia from the WWE 2K franchise. I've been a really avid fan of WWE games for, I would say, as long as I've been a wrestling fan, because it's one of the earliest exposures I had to. It's cool that 2K right now releases plenty of I would say collector's editions with every release per year, and this collector's edition actually comes with really cool items. So one of the most sought after items, and for me, being a collector of cool memorabilia and autograph signatures, is exactly that. Sometimes they actually package it with all these items. So I'm just gonna run through a few. If you guys have a signature from The Undertaker, so this is actually from WWE 2K14. I believe this is the earliest entry from 2K when it took over WWE games, and I actually got this from another carouseller. So this is really cool, The Undertaker, guys. I don't really have the full set with me right now, but I do still have the signature from the collector's box. So it's actually a signature of Hulk Hogan, as you can see right here, with just a character art of him. So yeah, this is really cool. Another that I managed to get was from the WWE 2K17, which was a signature of Shinsuke Nakamura. So at the point in time, Nakamura was the hottest signing from New Japan Pro Wrestling, coming in, I believe, in early 2016. So that year was when the game came out, and naturally they wanted to feature him as one of his promoted superstars from the game itself, and they had him to sign his own art with his signature. So this is really cool. Next we have this really cool, I would say a collectible piece or memorabilia of Ric Flair's robe. So I believe this was from 2K19, I believe. It was a Ric Flair edition, and there was different variations. I believe there was 3 ropes that they actually cut up, ring used ropes. They actually cut up and then they actually frame it as such. So I managed to get this off another seller on Carousel, and it was really nice to let this go. And yeah, I really cherish this because I just love the way it's packaged, and then just a small part of his, this in fact it's just a small part of history right here, because Ric Flair is definitely one of the biggest names in professional wrestling. Next, what we have is this SmackDown authentic ring skirt piece. If you can see from the image right here, this was when Brock Lesnar at the time actually did a superplex from the top rope on Big Show, and when they both landed and they crashed and the ring literally imploded. Next up is from the WWE 2K18 series, and John Cena was the main attraction or the promoted superstar from the collector's edition, because commemorating, I believe it was 15 years of his debut. And we have a commemorative plaque of him. So it was an image of him winning his 16th world title from AJ Styles from Royal Rumble 2017, and we have a piece of the ring canvas from the event itself. I think this is a really nice item to add to the collection, and it's definitely a piece of history, and it's really significant to see how far he has come as a WWE superstar. Love him or hate him. But not least, we have these 2 plaques, one of the Rated R Superstar Edge, personally hand signed, and of course another from Rey Mysterio, personally hand signed as well. So these 2 actually came from the WWE 2K20 series. I wasn't really satisfied at the time because there were 3 superstars that you may randomly get from the collector's box, and you can either get Kurt Angle, Edge, or Rey Mysterio. So I just wanted to try my luck by buying another, and eventually I got Rey Mysterio, the first being Edge. But of course I thought the Kurt Angle signature would have been really cool to get, but alas, it wasn't meant to be, so it's fine. Next up, I want to show you guys really quickly about another trading card game. No, it's not Pokemon. It is WWE or WWF Raw Deal. If you guys remember, this was one of the hottest trading card games back then, even in the States and even in Singapore. And unfortunately, it has died down, but I do know there is a community in Singapore that's still playing this WWE Raw Deal game, and they even actually play virtual decks as well, decks that are basically created by players themselves and not necessarily coming from the main line. So I just would like to share with you guys some of these items that I believe is definitely one of the coolest items to have. First being this limited edition trash can, which is the Raw Deal is all about the game. So this trash can actually included 2 starter decks, which is a 2-man Power Trip and the Brothers of Destruction. So I still actually have the Brothers of Destruction starter deck. Unfortunately it's not sealed, but the contents are. And of course the 2-man Power Trip. So I actually opened up and placed it in my album as well. So I really got this at a steal from someone else online, and I got it at the time was a sealed item, and I think these are no longer in print. Definitely WWE Raw Deal is no longer in print globally. It has stopped production, and I think these are just one of kind items that you will never ever be able to get again unless you're able to get from a second-hand seller and etc. So to follow up with that, there are 2 items right here. Same thing is a WWE Raw Deal, which is booster boxes. So the first being the Velocity booster box, which came out I believe in 2003. So I managed to procure this from someone. Definitely one of the most prized possessions that I have, because this item itself, again, it's no longer in print, guys, and to have one in mint condition, and of course with the possibility of getting the ultra rare cards inside, which I believe is still of value even to this day. And we have actually collectors from Carousel or Singapore generally actually looking for their chase cards for WWE Raw deal. So Velocity is one of the modern sets, I would say the early modern sets, not the most sought after, but definitely a cool one to keep. So similarly, we have the WWF before it got rebranded to WWE Raw Deal Mania, another booster box as well. Really difficult to get, and of course it comes with the ultra rares as mentioned earlier, similarly to the Velocity series as well. Definitely cool to have. Alright, the next item I'd like to share with you guys is something that's very close to my heart. It's really something that I hold dear to me. It's very valuable to me, which is the figurine of the Demon Finn Balor from WWE 2K17. But not just that, is actually signed by Finn Balor himself. So I actually met him at a meet and greet in I believe it was 2017. Yeah, I believe it was 2017 or 2018. Waited for hours for him to come and managed to meet him in person. Really cool dude. It was really brief, but I was just really happy to, you know, get something as a takeaway from him. Alright guys, last but not least, is definitely one of the most sought after items that I've always wanted as part of my collection. If you are a professional wrestling fan, you would know that the World Championship is the pinnacle of any professional wrestler's dream to have, and of course as a fan to keep, because you know it's really cool to have. It's a really nice set piece or aesthetic piece for you to keep at home. So naturally for me, I wanted to have the WWE World Heavyweight Championship from 2014. So if you can see right here, just gonna put it over my shoulder. This is actually a commemorative edition of the world title. It's actually almost the same. I think it's definitely the same size and dimensions as the real one, as the replica, but it's half the weight because the material is actually used of hard plastics and materials that don't necessarily carry the weight of the replica, but instead it gives you this aesthetic look that you can keep in a display case, etc. So definitely nice. Just show it up close to you guys. Just love the detail. So I managed to get this from someone online and who was selling below market price, and I think ever since then this has been a centerpiece of the collection that I actually have. I hope you guys have enjoyed sitting through this episode with me. I hope this has possibly struck a sense of nostalgia for professional wrestling fans out there, and even if you're not, I hope this is something that's possibly interesting or maybe new to you. And definitely, if you know there's more to come for professional wrestling, I'm gonna put it right here at Game Strong. So likewise, if you have actually liked this video, don't forget to press the like button, subscribe to this YouTube page, and follow me at Instagram at Game Strong. Thank you guys, and see you guys again soon.